Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! I got her!
Now hold up. How does some anime game with features have anything to do with gambling?
Gambling used to look like slots, chips, and poker, but now it's all in the App Store and can be accessed by anyone, no matter the age. It even appears in video games that have an $80 price tag. These games, even the free ones, can make upwards to $3 billion. But what are loot boxes and gotchas? How's it gambling? How does it affect people who play them? And do parents even know that these games exist and they are buying them for their children? Loot boxes were popularized by the game MapleStory back in 2012, while Puzzles & Dragons is the first gacha game to be successful in the West in the same year. A loot box is an item in a video game that, when opened, can give a variety of items, each with different rarities and rates in which they can appear. The rates for these items differ from game to game, but the most common occurrence is that the most useless or common items are found at 90 to 90% of the time, while the best items, the most sought after things in the game, have the rarity of appearing 10% to 1% of the time. This is considered gambling because in poker, you put up chips in the hope of winning money, while in these examples, in gacha games and loot boxes, you put up the game currency in hope of getting a good item, while in all actuality, you're going to get something you've gotten several times before. And said game currency also costs real-world money if you want to increase your chances by buying a bit more. What is it that drew you to this game in reference to FGO?
Anime. And that I've played other games that are like it.
Have you ever spent any money on it? Was it worth it, and would you do it again?
I have indeed spent money on this game. Was it worth it? It's hard to say. I think it might have been worth it, and I will do it again, yes.
You invested.
I think the game is pretty fun, and also I feel like it's a little hard to stop playing, and all the characters that I like in it. And I feel like if I would stop playing, I would have wasted all of the money that I have spent on the game thus far.
How much money have you spent on the game, exactly?
Approximation, possibly close to 1,000.
Parents may not be aware about these games in their entirety. Though the games are marketed as E10+ to T for teen, children below these ages can easily make an account that lies about their age or even use a parent's account. The feature of loot boxes and gacha mechanics are not heavily advertised or understood very well. Because of this, most parents do not understand what they are buying for their children.
I was somewhat aware that these games were available and that children were spending money on the games, but I did not realize the impact that it would have on children.
I think that there should be a way of limiting children not being able to have access to these games, and if it can't be done, I think they should rethink and not allow these types of games.
I do believe that we should limit children playing games like this due to what it could enforce in children. I do believe that it is both the parents' responsibility and the company's responsibility to take our children's health into consideration.
Yes, I do think that they are liable. I think they've intentionally made the product so that it would be, the way that these games are designed, there's an addictive quality to them. And I think that there is an intention there. So therefore, yes, they are liable. I think parents are also liable. And I think that you have to know your children as a parent to be able to monitor your child appropriately.
Knowledge about these games are limited, only known by the people who play them or the people who make them. Because of this, the games go unchanged, able to affect children in very harmful ways.
These games can have harmful effects on the brain. Lots boxes have reportedly hit the oldest structural psychological criteria for gambling, meaning it has the same effects on the brain as gambling, such as increased risk of mental health issues such as depression and anxiety, which can even lead to suicide thoughts.
There are so many things that we can talk about video games. and screens. But more than anything, I think they normally get very anxious when they have the games and the tablets, and when it depends of the game. There are many games that are very good for them. Even there are some games that help them to relax, but most of the games give them some kind of anxiety. For sure, they can get very affected about them. And more than anything is that they lose the sensibility of what a life means. We have a lot of shootings in the United States. We have seen this kind of phenomenon because they don't realize how important life can be. And some of them are very young to understand the concept of life. And most of the kids talk about, I'm gonna kill you, you're gonna die. So I don't think that violent video games is a very good idea for kids under 20 actually. And definitely we have to be aware of what they are looking at.
These games can earn a disturbing amount of money. For example, Fate Grand Order, a popular mobile gacha game created on the App Store, alone made $5.6 million weekly, with an overall estimate $3 billion total made over 4 regional variants. However, Fate Grand Order is a free mobile game, but games like Overwatch and Call of Duty have similar mechanics.
So loot boxes are a type of like a surprise box that you can purchase in game, or you can get it by completing challenges. They just basically contain different skins, items for your guns, weapons, stuff like that, depending on the game. And in my opinion, the most popular game that contains them is Fortnite. I honestly have really no opinion on gacha games. I don't think they do any harm at all. Me personally, I also don't get very upset. Like, it's a surprise box. You can only wish for what you're gonna get. You don't know anything that could be inside. So, it's just kind of like a fun thing to do. I tell you time and time again, when a parent tells me in store that they have caught their children spending hundreds of dollars on in-game items just on Fortnite and other games, and they have no idea what it's for. I don't think of it as a form of gambling, personally. It's more of a surprise box. Like, you don't exactly know what you're gonna get. It's kind of more fun in that part. I think the most, the most harm it does is, on the parents' pockets. I honestly don't think it'll have any effect on kids in the future. There are games that actually contain gambling. Those games would have some harm on kids because that is actually, teaching them to gamble, to use slots in any machine like that.
However, the perspective of loot boxes are changing. Governments are taking note of the predatory nature of these surprise boxes. Some countries, such as Belgium, banned all forms of loot boxes and gacha games.
I think the games industry should accept a much more proactive responsibility. It gathers the data about how people play, how much they spend. It can identify the outliers, people who maybe are suddenly playing a lot more or for a long period of time been playing a lot more. And I think it should take an interest in the welfare of those players and not leave it up to the player themselves to self-refer and say, I think I'm playing too much, or leave it to parents or others. I think the games companies who are making money out of their players.
Even the players of these games are unable to deny the fact that this is gambling.
I'd say, because this is a lot like gambling, honestly.
Though the creators of these games stress that it's not gambling, governments, players, and even the general public all agree that these games are dangerous. Hopefully, this means for the end of the games in the near future.